in Ashanti region are preventing potential candidates from contesting him. He is warning that this could lead to deep divisions in the party. We are live in Ashanti region where there are several reports of agitation tonight from potential candidates.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Bond Savings and Loans. Your success, our passion, also brought to you by Gasem Cement, the nation builder, and Vodafone. The future is exciting, ready. There's renewed pressure tonight on the leadership of the New Patriotic Party to take immediate measures to protect incumbent members of Parliament in impending parliamentary primaries in April. We are hearing tonight from both the First Deputy Speaker of Parliament and the Majority Leader, who is asking the party to manage the process to avert what he calls internal bleeding. In Swame, where the Majority Leader, Evans Mensah, is the MP, there are already complaints that the party is attempting to manipulate the process to block potential contestants. More on that shortly, as you're also hearing further agitation across the Ashanti region, really, tonight from some aspirants. Tonight, it is the position of the First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, who is also facing a keen contest in his Bekwai constituency that is raising a few eyebrows. In fact, in that constituency, there is report tonight that the constituency chairman has locked up the party offices and fled with the forms you need to pick to contest as a parliamentary candidate in the primaries. We have details on that for you as well. Speaking on PM Express, Joseph Owusu called on the party leadership to scrap primaries for all first-time MPP MPs and also offer some protection for majority leadership in the House.
What I've heard the leader say, and he has been consistent, is that we cannot have a situation where at the end of every 4 years, all the entire leaders or your party is put to test, and then everybody is permitted to come and compete. And in some jurisdictions, once you become the leader, whether minority or majority, they don't even, general election, the other party doesn't compete.
Where? Which jurisdiction is this?
I've seen that in, I think, Burundi. Some jurisdictions in Africa, they agree. Majority leader, you're in your Swami constituency, NDC will not fill the candidate. Minority leader in Tamale Central or the Tamale South, MPP will not fill the candidate. That is the respect for one another. That is the arrangement. You recall that I've said that members of Parliament work is in Parliament. Unfortunately, their evaluation is done
what you do on the ground,
which
the constituency
you don't have control over, right? So the basis on which people are assessed is extremely unfair to members of Parliament. And so what Che is proposing, that the party should take control and determine which members or which cycle of members of Parliament can continue for the next generation. Which ones are you preparing for the next level? After 2-3 terms, we expect you to go this way. We expect you to become a leader. Often, you see that even our leadership change frequently, because you can't guarantee that the person who has been performing so well
will win the primary.
Will win the primaries or win the general election.
But the big question becomes, what would the basis for the party's selection of who gets protected and who doesn't?
The work of Parliament is on record every day, from beginning to the end. The parliamentary record is available.
That is certainly an objective assessment, is it?
It is. Everybody is there. The role you do, if it is a committee level, your work is on record. So if the leadership or if the party decides that this is the approach, if members of Parliament, we're opening up these constituencies this year, this person. But I think, for example, that nobody should be made to do primaries after the first term.
So all first
term MPs
should run unopposed in the primaries?
Yes. Because you see, this job,
regardless of your performance in the House?
no matter what you have learned before you come here, it will take you some time to understand the workings of Parliament. For example, how is it fair to assess me the same way with somebody who is not a leader or a speaker? Because unfortunately, once you sit there, I don't even have the freedom to get up to go and use the washroom.
So I hear you say at least. I mean, clearly you want first-timers protected, but also at least the leaders.
As much as possible, we should have a criteria by which we decide which members of Parliament, by virtue of their performance in the House,
get protected. But that is undemocratic. Can we argue?
What is undemocratic? I've told you the Labour Party one.
Well, that's the fact that they do doesn't mean it's democratic. I mean, this is a new patriotic party.
No, what is undemocratic about that one?
Because people, the electorate, as in delegates, don't get to choose who goes to Parliament every 4 years.
Why not? Why should it be every 4 years?
Because that's what your constitution says, and that's what democracy
The constitution says select. I'm emphasizing this because I think that by and large, the parties are losing control of who represents them even in Parliament.
That's the cost of democracy.
No.
You chose to be a democratic party.
Democracy must be guided by the party's rules and party's principles.
But that's a dangerous position.
No.
What it means is that somebody in your party can simply then decide who goes to Parliament.
No, it's not somebody. There are rules.
Well, on the floor of Parliament today, Majority Leader Evans Mensah warned of internal NPP bleeding if the party leadership failed to manage the process.
The MPP has begun its processes leading to the parliamentary primaries, and we began this time around. That may also impact on the business of the House. I hope the party will be able to manage the process to minimize internal bleeding. If you are not able to minimize internal bleeding, the party should know that it will rock Parliament, indeed affect negatively the transaction of business in the House. Let us be very charitable to ourselves and know that members of Parliament have traveled some distance in this House. It's important that as a collective we engage in endeavors that will ensure that as many of us as possible are retained in Parliament to ensure the growth of parliamentary democracy in Ghana. It's not always that we should be beginning anew and bringing in new parliamentarians. Speaker, we should commit to principles. When we speak to issues, people should agree that democracy is about majoritarian rule. Democracy is about majoritarian rule. And Speaker, people should buy into that. I agree that the majority is not always right. But democracy, at the end of every constitution, is about majority rule. People should subscribe to that. People should learn to subscribe to that. And that indeed will ensure that we have peace in this country.
And that is Osechi Mensah. He is the Member of Parliament for Swame, where yesterday there were complaints that the party in the constituency was conspiring to prevent one particular aspirant from picking up nomination forms to contest him in the particular primary in April. The party, in fact, is also confirming to us that it intends in some 9 constituencies in the Ashanti region to use the selection process instead of the election process. We'll have more on that. Now, in Joe Osowusu's own constituency of Bekwai, there are also allegations from one of the potential aspirants who's also seeking to pick nomination forms tonight, one Akwesi Amafo Ajiman, who's alleging that the constituency chairman in Bekwai, Mr. Patrick Jimfi, is alleged to have now locked up the party's office on Monday and in order to prevent the potential MP aspirants from picking nomination forms. We'll be going to the Ashanti Region capital shortly and speak to my colleague Erastus Osari-Donko, who's been following all this for us. But now let's speak to another aspirant, Oheneba Jemfi. He is the aspiring candidate there for Ifija Secretary East constituency. Mr. Jemfi, thank you for your time here on Top Story.
You're always welcome, sir.
What happened in your case? Have you picked your forms yet?
Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to Ghanaians on the issues relating to our primaries. Yes, I've been to the constituency. I've met the chairman wanting to pick up the nomination form, but issues coming up indicates that the chairman is not willing to issue to us the nomination form to enable us file for the upcoming primaries. And according to the chairman, he says he has spoken to Chairman Blay and then other executives, and they have specifically instructed him that when anyone comes up for a nomination, the person should come to Kumasi to pick up the form from there. And we have also spoken to him, and he has indicated that that is not fair. That is not the party's decision, and that is not how things are done. We have a constituency. We have an able chairman who is the constituency chairman, and he should be, he should have the capacity to give out nomination forms to candidates who want to file for the upcoming election. But he is still insisting that we will have to go to the capital city to pick up the form. And the intelligence that is reaching us also indicates that they are trying to protect some female incumbent MPs, so that they will not allow people to contest them, and that is not fair. That is not fair. You see, the party belongs to all of us. It is for Ghanaians, it's for NPP, and it's for all of us. And then we should have equal, opportunity to contest whenever there is the time to contest. So if they put up mechanisms to frustrate people from, registering their interest in the election, that will not be fair. We have been with the party for a very long time. We have worked with MP Chairman. We have worked with all the others who have come. And this is our time that we also have to come in. And people are waiting for us to come because they know what we can do. So if the party is trying to put up, some people are trying to put up some mechanisms to, frustrate us from coming, that is not fair. And so that is our message. And
but have you tried to get the forms from Accra as you say the directive has been put forward?
I have not been to Kumasi, but I believe that it is our constituency. And why is it that some constituencies have been issued with the nomination forms, but ours will have to travel all the way to Kumasi to pick up the form? What is happening? That is not the case. Why should it be so? You see, we have a constituency, we have a party office, we have a chairman. If we don't have a chairman and someone tells us to go to Kumasi, that is reasonable. But when you have a chairman who, pretend over all the activities of the party within the constituency, and we come to you and he tells us to go to Kumasi, then it even tells us that the chairman is not up to task. I mean, that's what it's telling us. But the chairman is not,
So you in your particular constituency, the incumbent MP there is Mavis Nkansah-Boadu, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So what is wrong with the party decides for affirmative action purposes to protect female candidates?
You see, that is not the initial plan. You understand? If that has been the party's agenda all this while, then we would have known and would have understood that.
But that is the party's agenda now, as you've been
no, it has not been communicated to everybody. When we are in the middle of picking up nomination forms and you bring this up, then, that is not fair. If they had told us, then we would have, some of us would have sat down and reconsider our decision. When we have done all that we could, when we have, you know what I'm talking about, sir? We have done all that we could to, come in and to contest, and now you bring this cross in. Then that is not fair.
So what is it that you tend to do about this then?
I want the party executive to respond to that and let the nomination form be available to pick the form. You understand what I'm saying? Because we need to contest the election. This is not, it has to be an election, not a selective, kind of thing. Let it be fair to everybody. Anyone, any party member who qualifies to file, let that person have the opportunity to do it. And to frustrate people and to restrict people from filing up. Let it come out. Give us all the equal opportunity that we need.
Well, that is Mr. Heneba Jemfi. He is an aspirant for the Ifija Secretary East constituency. Well, yesterday, the Ashanti Regional Secretary of the party, Mr. Sampine, confirmed to us that indeed in some constituencies in the Ashanti region, the party is considering the option of selecting the candidates instead of holding an election in the primaries. Listen to Sampine.
The party constitution has not said it should be left in the hands of delegates to decide. That's why I said people are interested should go and read Article 12 of our party.
But I've asked you to tell me what does that clause say, particularly with reference to this. You said it's broad. If you can isolate it for me, then we get clarity.
What talks? It's all about the processes of selecting or electing. And let me get it this one clear: that selecting or electing our candidate. So it's not always about the instance of going to a pool to always hold primary.
It is also about selection.
The final decision to accept a candidate or not rests with the National Executive Committee, which is the next. So there can be 10 people may go for a contest, one may win, but next may decide that no, we've looked at the records, we look at this or that, and therefore none of these candidates could be a candidate for the parliamentary election. And that is the sole responsibility and right of
so just for clarity, okay, so it's possible that the party must exercise a choice that in some of the constituencies you choose the selection process.
It's a political strategy. The party may exercise the choice. Let me give you a typical example. One, we were going for the Bimbila by-election. Honorable Nichibu, he wasn't even not an MPP member. We have 5 people, including the constituency secretary, who were contesting on the tickets of the party for that position. The party decided the best candidate was that young man who wasn't even MPP, that we put and said that this should be our candidate, and he won the seat for us and he maintained the seat for us over the years now. So political parties are always strategic. We look at the situations on the ground, we look at what is important and what will move the party forward. But we're not, the bottom line is that we're not trying, we're not making any effort clandestinely or deliberately to prevent somebody from contesting.
Let's go live now to the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi, where my colleague Erastus Asari Donko has been following the developments there for us. Erastus, it appears you're receiving widespread reports about many constituencies where aspirants say they're being prevented from picking up forms.
Exactly, and initially it started as a rumor, and people were disputing it. But then, as time went on, when nominations were opened, then the reality dawned. We have been receiving complaints from many aspirants, some from East, some from Asukwa constituency, for example, from Bekwai and other areas. And their complaint is simple, that they are being denied the opportunity to pick the forms. Many of the chairpersons for these constituencies are not even opening the constituency offices to be assessed and for forms to be bought. And they are constantly being given dates. For example, the East, we were told that the forms will be in. That was yesterday. Today they went in and they were told that the forms will be in on Friday. And then subsequently they've been told that national executives will want to speak with them and that they are trying to protect the female MPs in those areas. The argument that they are also putting in is that there are female MPs who are even stronger, and elections have proved that they've been able to topple even stronger men within these constituencies to become MPs. So they think that it's not fair to then say that these women are quote-unquote weak and that the party is trying to protect them.
It's quite astonishing that we're not hearing reports yet from other parts of the country. This is focused so far in the Ashanti region. Of course, we've heard from the Evans Mensah and Joseph Usu, all from the Ashanti regional capital. From the official, and you are in Ashanti region, from the official point of view, executives in the constituency, we've heard Sampine explain that they're trying to use the selection processes. What explanations have they been giving on the ground there in Ashanti region?
In fact, there is no official explanation put out by these executives. In fact, when I called the constituency chairman for Sector East, he told me personally that he will be available in the office, that is today, and that they should come. Each and everyone who wants to contest should come. The forms are available, and he will be giving them out to the people. I've just gotten wind that they went and that he's not available, the office is closed, and they've been calling him, he's not picking his phone. That has been the practice. There's not been any official notification out there to say that, okay, this is what we are doing, and so don't come to the office at all, or the slots are not open at all for nominations to be picked, and that is the official position of the party.
Erastus, thank you very much. And we've heard already today Joe Owusu, who is MP for Bekwai, also the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, justify any attempt by the party really to protect some MPs in Parliament. He first suggests that the party should develop a criteria that is based on performance to determine which MPs to protect, but he also says all first-time MPP MPs should also go unopposed. They should scrap the primaries for them. He also believes the leadership of the House, from the majority side, deserves some form of protection as well. In his own constituency, there are allegations tonight that the chairman there have locked up party offices since Monday, and nobody knows where he's gone with the forms that you need to pick to contest. In Swame, there's a similar story also that I've told you about. Again, this is the constituency of the majority leader, where there are concerns that, again, forms cannot be found, although nominations have opened. I want to bring in senior lecturer at the University of Ghana Political Science Department, Ms. Ali Dusedu, who joins us on the telephone line right now. Ms. Ali Dusedu, this is not the first time these suggestions have been made, but with the primaries, upon us, it appears it's getting pretty real on the ground, with concerns about various, orchestrations to prevent people from picking form. But if you listen to the Joe Owusu proposal, do you agree with him when he says the party must find a way, one, use performance, two, also first-time MPs, and now we hear it's possible that female incumbents will also not be contested. What do you make of these moves?
I think it is not healthy for our democracy moving forward. One, there are several mechanisms that can be used to select a candidate for the parliamentary levels. And I think in the literature they've discussed like 22 plus of those methods. Now, majority of them comes with the party. The party has the power. We call it the choice before the choice. The first choice is for the people to determine who is qualified to win this seat for the party. And then the second choice is the same people determining who should lead them, their discussion and their affairs in the House of Parliament. So the party sets the criteria for who is qualified to contest. The party even have monetary criteria. You're supposed to pay for filing fees, you're supposed to pay for all those. This, to some people, this is a serious stumbling block to your ability to contest. So now if the party is going to move forward to now determine which candidate should be contested and which candidate should not be contested, then they are indirectly taking away all the powers from the people on whose interest MP should be elected. So I think if you look at the dominant literature, most of the issues that they raise against party primaries, two of them are key. One, funding. People think when you allow primaries and then the main election, contestants just spend twice. As you say, the winning candidate will spend one in the primaries and then spend in the main election. So it drains them down financially. The other issue is what we call the primaries penalty. Largely speaking, when you allow the same people to contest on the same party, they may attack each other's integrity, each other's persons, each other's ability, and all those things. Then when the candidate ends up winning the election, he is bruised by insults and stigma to the extent that the opponents can use those words against him, and that can lead him not winning the party for the seat for the party. But all the arguments being raised by the MPP now doesn't have to do with funding or the issue of integrity. It's about consolidating and protecting the MPs who are already sitting MPs. But at a point in time, these sitting MPs were sometimes first-time contestants. So if
we begin to take the opportunity away from them, we wouldn't have become MPs in the first place. And I think if we are going to use performance to measure, we should still leave it to the people to determine, because you are actually representing the people first before the party. And that is why in the legislature they don't say NDC MP for this, they say MP for, and then they mention your constituency. So the constituency is key. We don't discount the role of party in parliamentary democracy, just as the state. The MP can represent the interests of the party, the interests of the state, but more importantly, the interests of the constituency. So the constituency should have a greater say in who becomes their MP. Once you begin to introduce these clauses, then we are indirectly taking away the power of choice from the people on whose interest the MP is supposed to elect them to the party. So I think they should come up with maybe innovative way of protecting. If they're going to use performance to measure, the people are the best judges to determine whether the MP is doing well than the political party. Because the MP is supposed to serve the interest of the people first, before the political party second.
Well, I mean, Jones also disagrees with that, suggestion that the delegates alone should be left to make the decision. In fact, he referenced the party's own constitution, which indeed allows for a selection as well as an election, and the party should manage that process and control who represents them in Parliament. Thank you very much, Elidu Seidu, who's a senior lecturer with the Political Science Department. More on this later. And I want to stay with us because we'll be bringing you the President's outlining a series of measures tonight to fix emergency healthcare delivery, as of course he makes good on his one constituency, one ambulance promise. That's on Newsnight later.